I'm volunteering with the Arizona Sustainability Alliance.
I decided to volunteer out here because I just wanted to get more involved with the community, specifically within sustainability.
I'm the Adopt a Park coordinator, so I work with local city governments and businesses and community members to plan park cleanups and invasive species removals.
So we're pulling brittle bush today in order to kind of clear some of the area and help just keep up the grounds.
Invasive species can be very harmful for ecosystems because they take a lot of water and other resources from native vegetation, and they outperform native vegetation in most cases, and then they just kind of take over. It decreases biodiversity and it decreases normal wildlife activity. Our main partner right now is City of Phoenix, so we do a lot of work at North Mountain Preserve and specifically the Penny Howe Trail, which is the only ADA accessible trail in the Phoenix area. A large part is just removing those types of plants, especially like anything along trails that has grown into the trail. We want to make sure that walkways are clear and safe for everybody. We also do some trash cleanup along the roads, and sometimes we also help with tree trimmings and just things like that. It's just kind of whatever the park rangers need that day.
So this is my first time volunteering with anything like this. I'm looking to kind of just get involved a little bit.
I think it shows the importance of the community and your love for it, and you putting yourself out there, or anyone putting themselves out there to really make this a beautiful community.
You know, we all call this Earth home, and I think it's really important that we all do our part.
And to make sure that we're all helping make our community the way that we want it to be and enacting changes that we want.
Yeah, so we're here with the ASU Sailing Club. Have a great experience going through volunteering with different community organizations across the state of Arizona, and we're happy to come out today.
It was good. I had a lot of fun. You know, it's nice being out here in the weather. It's a little hot today, but it was nice to be able to, make a little impact.
We got to plant some new pollinators.
As well as, we dug a few holes to get ready for new trees to be planted as well. You dig with the shovel, you can only get so far until you start having to break out the rocks with the pickaxe, which is always a fun time.
And clean up the trail.
I had the task also of going up around some of the paths and clearing some of the brush.
I feel like growing up and being, the age I am in the current state of our world, I think it's really important for us to have a grip on sustainability.
Arizona State University has a bunch of sustainability initiatives, but I've tried to incorporate some of that into my own life also.
As a team, we try to get to as many volunteering events as possible, give back to our community who's obviously given to us.
I can definitely say that some of the summers have gotten hotter. So, it's concerning. Just to come out here and to be able to have an impact, it's huge. It's everything.
So we started last year with the virtual classes that were fantastic. They helped me to survive over the pandemic because the lessons were so engaging. The students were really excited to see the pictures of what the Tower Garden looked like, but they were shocked when they got to see it in person for the first time. They thought it was like a rocket ship in our room.
For me personally, it's knowledge. I don't have a green thumb, so learning more about the plants and the process to help it flourish and grow has been exciting and very helpful.
So being part of Sow It Forward has helped me collaborate with other teachers in different grades, and also growing the plants.
I have 13 kids and none of them have gardens at home. They didn't even know really what a garden was. And so it's been really nice to show them that, yeah, you go to the store and buy food, but it has to start either in a garden or at a farm, and then they bring it to the stores and then we get to buy it. So the kids finding out that we're growing this food from little seeds.
And then being able to transfer it into the tower was like mind-blowing to them. And then seeing it the next week and how it's evolved, they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. This one's mine, this one's mine. So they just were so surprised how fast it grew and how good it tastes.
The kids were excited to hear about the tower and the farmer's market and discussing about different fruits and vegetables.
And so the kids were able to see that, oh, we planted the seed and now there's a leaf or there's a sprout and stuff. And so that's been really nice for them because they just didn't understand what was going on. And with not having this program, they would still go on, we don't know where this comes from, and now they're getting this experience and they're growing their own food. And a lot of kids are like, we're gonna get mom and dad to grow a garden.
With having the garden tower and our cafeteria, they have fresh foods. So getting that, they're more willing to try those fresh foods and not just like that junk food. So that's really good.
As kids, they don't really eat salad or green vegetables. So being able to watch it grow, they were way more excited to try it.
I feel that my students are so engaged and so happy to come to my room. They're always looking forward to seeing how the what change has happened over the week. Some regular lettuce, and then this is some kale. This is an extra basil plant that was left over, and so we went ahead and put it in soil, and it's growing really well.
So in my tower, I do have a ton of basil that grew a lot faster than I thought it would. I have Bibb lettuce. I did the rainbow chard. We also have the dynamite lettuce that really didn't grow in the beginning, but now it is. So I'm excited to check that one out.
And have them learn some vocabulary by sniffing from the outer edges of the plant and then tearing it into bite-sized pieces and learning that vocabulary. And then tasting it.
So whenever I go over to the tower and they see that I have like a pair of scissors, they're like, oh, what are we doing now? And they want to see what else I'm harvesting off of our tree in our room.
I would chop like little parts of like the Bibb lettuce or spicy arugula, like mix up all the little ingredients together and put a little bit of ranch, and they would just eat it like that.
One of the nice things is when we start growing the tomatoes and stuff is that I was telling them, I said, we can make tomato sauce. We can make our pizza sauce. We can make, salsa and stuff. And they're like, what? No, it's in a can. And I'm like, no, you can get it in a can, but you can make it fresh. And then that's much healthier because you know what's going in it. And I was showing them, this is this word and trying to pronounce this word. I said, do you know what it is? And they're like, no. And I said, I don't know what it is, but when I make salsa, I know that I have tomatoes, onions, and peppers, and stuff. And so that was a nice learning experience for them because they didn't understand that what you're getting in a garden is not what you're getting in a can.
I have some children that are emotionally disturbed and some children that are on the spectrum of autism. And so we utilize the herbs for sensory experiences, and they're willing to smell them, and they can experience the different kinds of scents, and they can explain and elaborate utilizing very higher level language and very good sentences.
So I just think a lot of people just think, oh, well, I'm not good at growing, and so they're just not trying, where that's with the Sow It Forward, we've been able to try it, and if we make a mistake, that's fine. We're learning from it, and then we'll switch it.
A lot of the kids are now, they're not as picky anymore. They're willing to try new foods and see what it tastes like.
I have a lot more kids having conversations with me about those vegetables that they've tried at home and that, oh, I love this and I love that. It's like, wow, you guys are like 8 years old. I wouldn't expect that. But because we are now talking about it and they can see it firsthand, they're way more into it.
I think that it utilizes all of their senses, and that is a multi-sensory experience that stays with them. And I think it will stay with them for the rest of their lives. I really hope so.
And we hope to have all 3 tower gardens going next year. And like I said, we're going to use it in our cooking, and they're going to be making a whole meal once a month and hopefully we get to use everything from the garden.
For Ashton and to support his school, huh?
Yep.
Yep.
We have a lot of excited people to dig holes and plant trees. I think so many people love this opportunity to actually get their hands literally dirty.
Today we are planting 100 trees and plants to celebrate the centennial of Emerson School, so the past 100 years, but it's also for us an investment in the next 100 years.
The plants and the trees are going to help sequester carbon, provide, purify the air, going to improve mental health and provide much needed shade in this area.
We like to make sure that our students have access to increased shade and even quantifiably to increased oxygen production and increased carbon dioxide sequestration. So all of that stuff doesn't feel measurable, of course, but all of it is. And over the course of time, that just means cooler spaces for our kids and better air quality.
We're doing a great thing helping plant trees in Arizona, huh? Because we love Arizona, huh? And we love Emerson, right?
I came here to plant. I've been here 8 years at Emerson since kindergarten, and I've always wanted to be part of something like this.
We have so many different volunteers, so many people from the community. Banner is here, APS is here, Trees Matter, Trees for Harmony, G Road, My Phoenix Realtor Group, so many different variety of volunteers, and we're so lucky to have them.
I think a lot of people believe that an individual's actions don't really matter, but they do. Like, we had so many people here today, but each person contributed and did something, and I think that's a really beautiful thing.
This is awesome. I couldn't have asked for more. This is fantastic. We've got 109 registered volunteers plus an additional 30 or so on a wait list.
So all of the trees that we plant are going to be desert adapted, they're drought resistant, and fare really well in our environment.
What was it like? Did you have fun? Did we dig holes?
Yeah, so first we had it to do, get shovels, dig holes, and put it aside.
We had to put the tree the right way so it'll grow.
So the thingy, it had to face
That's to face north.
And then we put the tree in.
And then put the sticks, and we tied it up, and now there's a bunch of beautiful trees here for Ashton School, huh?
Once they're officially planted, we're going to do a 5-gallon bucket of water, make sure that they're watered really deeply and thoroughly. Some people might think, oh, well, we don't need to water them because they're drought resistant. That's not the case. Until they become established, so the first year or two, they need to be watered regularly.
We have the support of our district, and that means that they've helped invest in the process necessary to get irrigation to all of these trees so that they can get established. It also means that we're going to be participating, our staff will be participating in professional development for urban forestry just after spring break, and so our teachers will be learning what they can do to teach our kids about how do you care for trees once they're established, how do you care for these plants. And there is a cost to having them. They do require water, they do require care, but there's also this fantastic benefit that they provide, and not only changing the way we feel about our space, but just improving our quality of life. So through instruction, with our kids is what's going to make this sustainable for the years ahead.
I think it will make this place more beautiful than it already is. And out here it does get hot, but can't tell because we're having so much fun.
In an area that does not have a lot of tree canopy, they have a lot of palm trees, but not shade. And especially being close to downtown, the urban heat island effect is probably very pronounced here. So it's so great that we picked a school like this where we can actually have a big impact.
You know, one of my favorite activities and parts of these events is seeing all the students and seeing all the people from the community come together. It really shows how unified this community is, and they want the best for the school. So that really puts a smile on my face to see so many people out here.
You can go and you can visit the site and be like, wow, you see this tree? I did this. And it really helps make the community a little more resilient to climate change, which I also appreciate.
It feels good, huh? Now, every time you come on the playground, you're going to be able to say, I planted that tree. Aubrey planted that tree, huh? Isn't that wonderful?
I planted that tree.
Yeah, and this is our neighborhood, so we want to keep it beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Today here at Emerson, what we were able to do was run a professional development for the teachers.
We have the support of our district, and that means that they've helped invest in the process necessary to get irrigation to all of these trees so that they can get established. It also means that we're going to be participating, our staff will be participating in professional development for urban forestry, learning what they can do to teach our kids about how do you care for trees once they're established, how do you care for these plants.
That allows them to get hopefully more engaged with the trees and the plants that we put here on campus, why they're important.
Also involved with curriculum, kind of developing curriculum, testing it, seeing if it works properly.
How to spot some of the diseases and hopefully prevent some of them.
You know, there is a cost to having them. They do require water, they do require care, but there's also this fantastic benefit that they provide, and not only changing the way we feel about our space, but just improving our quality of life.
Students are very receptive to environmental things. I think they're very aware something's going on and there's impacts that can be made, and so students are very receptive. Like, we're going to take on this planet and we're going to be part of it, so what can we do to help keep it healthier?
Today we came to test water to see the concentration of different things like the pH or phosphates, and I came under AZSA, so we do a lot of like clean energy, and this kind of focuses on that to like clear up the water.
I tested the pH in the water and it was slightly above the safe range.
I did the nitrate one.
And what did you find?
I found out that this water has actually pretty good nitrate levels.
So I was testing the turbidity and basically how clear the water is. And so what I did was I scooped a sample of water into my tube to 10 milliliters, and then I put it on a scale and basically looked down the water to see what color it or what shade of black and white it matched on the picture.
We found it was very dirty. I mean, you could kind of tell from looking at the water, but like in the I think it was a 48 in oxygen ppm, and so it had to be closer to like 100, like 50 to have more clear water so oxygen can go through it.
This is my first time volunteering for something like this.
I'm just really interested in the effects that humanity is having on the environment and what we can do to kind of reduce the impact that we're making.
I also like learning about the different types of like how things are wrong and what I should like kind of like look out for or tell other people to not do and to do.
Well, the biggest thing that we can do that people really don't think of is reduce the amount of pollutants that we're using in the first place. Reusing and recycling is good, but if we don't have the pollutants in the first place, we don't have to take those secondary steps.
I think just research it, because most people that don't believe in that don't know what they're talking about most of the time. So I'd say just research it and don't go off of politics, go off of your own research.
Things are a lot worse than a lot of people make it out to be, and that they should get involved as soon as possible and make a difference.
I think it's a good program. It's very enriching. Like they have a lot of opportunities that I didn't know about, and like a whole group of people that work towards certain aspects of the program.
I mean, you should do it. It's fun. Just get out and have a good time playing in the water and just watching nature.
It felt like I was helping the environment in some way, which I like doing. I always say like, oh my gosh, Mother Nature, what's going on? But really, it's our fault. And we need to be more serious about taking care of our home, because this is the only one we're given.
I've been following AZSA for about 3 years now. I was an educator and sadly working enough that I wasn't able to volunteer my time, but I was elated when they had a position opening for their education programs manager. I applied for it.
And I saw all of the great work that AZSA was doing. So I started out as a volunteer for a little less than a year, and then I think it was about April of this past year, I became a part-time employee as a programs manager, so I do everything urban forestry related.
I've been with AZSA since July 2021, and I'm mostly on the volunteer management side, so helping out just like with organization of volunteers, but then also on these tree planting events, checking everybody in, making sure they have food, and then also I've learned a lot about planting trees themselves, so helping volunteers make sure they're doing it the right way is what I do.
I am liaison for the City of Apache Junction, and I'm also education coordinator for the K-12 Urban Forestry Program.
I'm the Adopt a Park coordinator, so I work with local city governments and businesses and community members to plan park cleanups and invasive species removals at various sites.
I am the communications manager at AZSA, so I help with the social media, I do press releases, I help with the marketing, anything kind of communications related, that's me.
AZSA does a variety of different things, right? So we do tree plantings, we do work in urban forestry, we do work in renewable energy, conservation, cleaning up parks.
Number one is invasive species removal, so just digging out any invasive species that we identify. At North Mountain, brittlebush is especially a concern.
My passion is environmental justice and making sure that everybody has equal access not only to nature but reduced burdens when it comes to environmental hazards. So heat is a big one for me. So being able to be with a group that is actually taking action to try to reduce heat and increase shade canopy is what drew me to AZSA.
And start actually utilizing in a capacity where I can take environmental science and the information I'm learning and spreading it throughout the community and teaching teachers, teaching students.
How they can get their students involved in learning about trees and the importance of trees. Also involved with curriculum, kind of developing curriculum, testing it, seeing if it works properly.
We do so many different things, and I think they're really beneficial, especially in this environment where, you know, we're not necessarily adapted to living in a desert, so we're trying to do everything we can to make this a sustainable environment.
And so what small change can you make in your life that starts having an impact? So I guess I would say to someone who's willing to do nothing, remember that, you know, is this the environment you want to leave to your kids or your grandkids?
But something that I really appreciate about this organization is you get people from all sorts of parts, like walks of life, parts of the community that care. And we're all here to kind of work towards the same goal, that like caring about the environment is important and taking care of the planet that we live on is important.
If you have the passion and the interest and you feel like you have to do something to solve climate change or you love the environment, definitely join us because we are taking action every day.
I think it's important for people to get involved because it's so accessible. This is a way that you can actively make a difference in your community and actively help with the environmental crisis that we're facing. And I think a lot of people believe that an individual's actions don't really matter, but they do.
I know some people think of volunteering as like, oh, it's like work, I don't want to take up my Saturday, but I honestly have a lot of fun, and I think that it's just a great way to be involved.
We have a lot of flexibility, but also you can discover your passion and actually apply what you really love to others and share.
Volunteering is obviously one of the biggest things we can ask of people. Donations are obviously huge as well to keep our programs funded.
So we can really use as many volunteers as we can get. If you want to go to azsustainabilityalliance.com and go to the Get Involved tab, there's a volunteer interest form you can fill out and kind of show what you're interested in. And then you can also join our mailing list that will send out different volunteer opportunities so you can get involved.
Volunteering is great. I've had a blast working all these events, and I wish I had gotten involved sooner because I just think we're a fantastic organization.